Computers are an essential part of any business, especially when they're operating and managed properly. I'm Jamie Gorman, host of Be Better at Business TV, and I'm here today with Amanda and Andrew Harper, the co-founders of Gaeltek, an information technology management firm. And we're here to talk about how IT management can help business owners. What are 3 or 4 actions that a small business or a medium business owner could take even today to just kind of help the performance of their network and help get more out of their computer network?
Well, I think the first thing that you want to do is have a relationship with an IT provider, an ongoing professional relationship. So you're not waiting for something to break.
Okay.
You want to have a team that knows your network, knows how it can be ran efficiently and optimally to ensure that you have that network uptime.
Okay.
I think also another feature that you might want to consider is that you're lining up the business resources with what you plan to do.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that the use of your network is correct. So for example, if you've got a team of 5 people working for you, you want to be sure that they're not spending all their day sitting on Facebook. You might want to let them be on Facebook on occasion, but you really want to make sure that your business resources, your computers, your network connections, and everything are used for proper business purposes.
Right.
So you want to have a way to control that. That makes a massive difference, actually, we see, to operational efficiency, especially in a small business.
Well, that's a good, because I get of course I do a lot of marketing as well with businesses, and that's one of the questions I get is, how do you kind of manage people using social media? Because for some folks, they kind of want employees using it a little bit, especially if they're talking about business things, because it's something that helps promote their business. But by having them on it all the time, it's productivity from that perspective, plus on the computer.
Yeah, and with the right tools, you can let it so that, or set it so that a user can access Facebook, say at lunchtime. No reason why not. You don't want to restrict them then. You don't want to be too draconian. You just want to make sure that proper resources are used at the proper time.
Okay, good. So we talked about certainly that, controlling that part of the network and having a relationship with an IT manager, because when something goes wrong, you want somebody who kind of knows your network. Otherwise, they got to come in and figure it out every time, right? So, and anything else that people can do.
Again, just following up on the earlier question about having the right hardware and software, you'll see definite improvements if you're using those business-grade products within your network.
Okay, great. So using the right products, another thing.
Absolutely.
And what about things like virus protection, firewall, those types of things?
So,
how strong do I need, and kind of how do I get into that?
Well, in a business, you need the right tools.
Right.
There's home antivirus protection that's designed for a home computer and a home system. If you use that in a business environment, it can absolutely adversely affect your ability to do work.
Okay.
So you need one that's professionally set up, professionally configured and installed. It doesn't mean it's going to be more expensive. It just means it's the right tool for the right job.
Okay.
And many times you actually can spend more for a home antivirus solution than you would for a proper business one.
Right.
So from an antivirus perspective, right tool, right job. Firewall, you want to make sure that you've got good protection to the perimeter of your network. You want to try and prevent things getting in before they become a problem. So your firewall wants to be a bit more advanced than the little firewall that you get down at the local computer store that you plug in and hope it's going to work and do some protection for you. You want to be able to say that I want to prevent viruses getting into my network before they even get here. I want to make sure that spyware doesn't get in. So there are things that you want to be that you need to be able to do in a business device that you just can't do in a home device.
Okay.
And seeing home devices in a business environment is a first alarm that I have that a professional has not been engaged to look at your network.
Okay. And I'm assuming that kind of the home virus protection, that's going to run resident more and use up processor speed on your actual computer, whereas something that's more of a network based might run more on a dedicated server or something like that, so it's a little bit more efficient to do.
It's more optimized for the things that happen in a network. When you work in a business network, you're actually trying to share data amongst computers. Home antivirus is trying to make sure that things don't get out and don't get shared, because really you're not normally doing that type of business. So it's just going to conflict with how things operate properly.
Okay. All right, good. So there's been a lot said about cloud-based computing. What is cloud-based computing, and how does that fit into the network?
Well, cloud computing is a buzz phrase. I mean, it's
Okay.
a phrase that is being used to describe something that we've all been doing a long time, and that is just simply using a computer to access information and resources that are stored somewhere else.
Okay.
For example, do you log on to check your banking account balance?
Yes.
That's cloud computing. You're using a computer to access data that is stored on your bank
Okay.
servers in another location.
Okay.
And so that's all cloud computing is. It's using the internet to access those resources, but it's a buzz phrase, and so that's
Why
what
is
I'm
it?
hearing
Why
about
is it?
about.
Because we've been doing that for several years. Why, over the last year or 2 years, has it become such this catchphrase? I mean, what's changed?
Well, it's a great marketing phrase to start off with,
Okay.
you know.
I mean,
let's
it
be
sounds good.
perfectly
That's
honest. Let's go
marketing
to the
good.
cloud. But it also there's been developments that make certain things work really well if they're cloud based. Like let's look at email. People had an email server in their office, and the internet connection goes down, and you've lost communications with your clients. So if you use a cloud-based email solution, a professional one, it's redundant, it sits in a data center, it means that they've got better power capability, there's less chance of power cuts, less chance of the internet going down for them, they can still have issues, don't get me wrong, but there's less risk associated with that, and it means that, let's say your business suffers a power cut. You send your staff home, say, want you to work from home. You can still respond to email. You can still do things. You can still stay in touch with your clients. So right tools, right place. Some things fit really well in the cloud. Other things maybe not so much. So again, you'd want to engage a proper IT professional to come in and look and really survey your business and understand what your business is about so that they can properly advise you.
Okay.
Not everything fits in the cloud, but then again, not everything you want to have in your office.
Right. And well, I think one of the concerns I get when I talk to people about things like that is especially things like their accounting system, right? I have a lot of trouble putting my accounting system on the cloud. When you're putting data or customer lists or things like that, how secure is it out there? How secure is it out in the cloud?
Well, what I like to say is, if you have those systems in-house, meaning
Right.
you're hosting them on a server on premises, that data is at risk. If you have a cleaning person come in, they could do something to that
Okay.
server. They could take that. If you have data stored on your laptop and you take that laptop home with you, it
Right.
could be stolen from your car, it could be stolen from Starbucks.
Okay.
So that data is on the move, and that makes it susceptible to risk,
Okay.
to loss.
Okay.
But if your data is stored in a data center, that data is not going anywhere. It is staying on those servers. Access is controlled to get to the facility, multiple checks and balances, and it's not leaving the building.
Okay.
And so it is more secure than having the data in your office on location.
Okay. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense because it's in a secure facility physically
Yes.
and networky, I guess.
That's right. There's built-in redundancy.
In every
yes.
aspect, absolutely,
Yeah.
it can be significantly more secure than it is when it sits in your office.
There's-
There's been instances where a server has been stolen from an office.
Right.
The burglar got in, and there are things you can do to protect in-office data. You can encrypt servers. You can do all sorts of things. It adds that extra layer of protection. So don't think we're saying, oh, don't have data in your office.
Right.
What we're saying is that the right thing in the right place, but also don't be afraid of the cloud. If you've done your due diligence, if you've got an IT professional engaged who's advising you, who is investigating these things, there should be no risk putting data in the cloud.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it provides a good backup as well for your data. If your
Right.
office, if something happens to that office and you can't get in, if you had that data backed up on a hard drive that is sitting on top of your server,
Yeah.
that data's lost. But if you're backing it up to the cloud and something happens to your physical location, you still have access to that data that's in the cloud. So
Okay.
it does provide that backup disaster recovery functionality as well.
Right. So it is something that provides that a little bit of that physical security, and then by keeping it off-site, it helps with the backup. So, and I'm assuming you probably get a lot of questions now about using remote devices, remote access, using my iPad to get this information. How do I get it on my phone? How big is that trend with our small, medium businesses, and what kind of risk or opportunity does it add to the networks?
It's huge. If you think, a decade ago, most people probably had one computer at home that the whole family used.
Right.
They would go into their office, they would have, the one computer there. At some point, they probably got a BlackBerry. So over the course of a day, they were maybe using 2 or 3 electronic devices. Well, now you look at the typical employee, and they might have their office computer, their office laptop, they're going to have a smartphone, and then they head home and they've got, you know, how many devices at home between the kids and the spouse. So there is a huge rise, and it's I'm sorry.
So, and the key here really is, let's be honest, there's no such thing as a 9-to-5 job anymore.
Yes.
You know, none of us have that real luxury, certainly in the small business world, of being able to say, yeah, I'm in at work at 9, I finish work at 5, and I don't do anything after that. So remote access and having access to your data and your tools wherever you are is key to a quality of life that, you know, you can get home, you can spend some time with the kids go to bed, you can go get those little projects that you really wanted to get to before you left work at 5. You can get them done out of the way without having to go back into the office or work on a really slow system over a slow internet link or whatever. So yeah, remote access is key. Now also, remote access brings its risks because your data sits or can be sitting on another device. So again, you want an IT professional to help you make sure those risks are mitigated. That you know there's risk to everything we do, but it's making that risk an acceptable level of risk is what it's all about.
Right. Okay, so this is a personal question from my network because I started using Dropbox a lot. Is Dropbox okay?
So
Dropbox.
I don't put my accounting stuff there, but I'm glad about it.
That's good. If you don't have accounting data there, that is good.
Dropbox is a great tool for certain things. For example, I have a lot of files on my Dropbox account that I use that, I'll be honest with you though, it wouldn't upset me if someone else saw those files. I treat that as a postcard type environment, you know. There are business grade tools that are designed for proper security. So you could put your accounting data there, for example. But the key thing is I think of those consumer tools where it's free. I wouldn't trust everything to it.
Yeah, because we use, you know, I use a couple of different people just to even just manage something as simple as this show, and so we're able to use Dropbox to share different things across that, and it works out great, and it gives me accessibility from all my different devices, which makes it very convenient. I used to talk. I used to be in telecom sales, kind of when the smartphones and Blackberries came out, and you know, being in sales, we did a little bit of golfing. Well, what I found was, you know, sometimes on the golf course you'd have to take out your phone and people would be kind of upset on me. Hey, listen, if I didn't have this phone, I'd be tied to a computer somewhere because I'd be checking and waiting for such and such information.
Wouldn't be out playing golf in the middle of the afternoon.
That's right. So kind of that flexibility kind of is a give and take, but you do have to be able to kind of step aside and put it aside, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a healthy relationship with your computer.
Yes.
I wouldn't say
that means you don't throw it up against the wall.
that's
no
unhealthy.
abuse. Okay, great.
That's unhealthy. Maybe sleeping with it on your bedside table is probably not too healthy either.
General, but is there anything you want to share more specifically about Gaeltek specifically?
Well, I would say that Gaeltek, we started Gaeltek in 2004. Andrew had been working for a large IT company. We didn't like the way that the small business clients were treated. There was very much, you know, the larger the client, the more they paid, the better they were treated. And so after having a lot of discussions with Andrew and coming in and saying, oh, I can't stand the way small businesses are being treated, that's why we really felt a calling to start Gaeltek and to really work with those small to mid-sized businesses who we thought were not getting the support that they deserved.
And let's be honest, small businesses are the backbone of our country, so we want to provide a high quality, you know, professional service to small businesses, because that's really what they're doing to their clients as well, high quality professional service.
Great, and I really like that because when you look at small businesses, the computing aspect for small businesses and the PC just in general has really helped them to compete and is probably a bigger, more effective tool for smaller businesses than sometimes bigger businesses, I think.
Absolutely, because the smaller businesses, they have less money, and so they're using technology in their computer more advantageously, and they're not looking at it as a waste of time and money and resources, which sometimes others do.
And
just see it as a necessary evil.
Absolutely, and small businesses are also very agile compared to big corporations, so you know, with a proper professional helping you, you can be that agile solution for them too. So small businesses are key to our economy.
All right, great. Well, thank you for joining. I'm Jamie Gorman with Be Better at Business TV and also with Sigma Business Management, and we hope that you enjoyed the show today. And if you did, please feel free to share it with your colleagues and your clients. We try to put out some great information here.